All right, let's dive into something that I think is really important, the architecture of our own self-awareness. We're going to look at our inner world not as some broken thing that needs to be fixed, but more like a landscape, something we can actually learn to explore and navigate.
So let me just start with a really direct question, one that, well, I think a lot of us have probably felt deep down at some point. Do you ever feel broken? Like there's some kind of fundamental flaw in you that you just can't seem to shake?
And that feeling, that sense of being broken, it usually comes from being stuck, right? Just caught in these endless, exhausting loops of the exact same thoughts, the same emotions, the same behaviors, over and over again. And that's usually the point where we start blaming ourselves.
And that blame? Well, that's the real trap. We fall into this cycle of self-judgment where our own inner critic just becomes the loudest, meanest voice in the room. And it does a really good job of keeping us exactly where we are, stuck.
So what's the way out? How do we break the cycle? Well, the key isn't to fight harder or to criticize ourselves even more. No way. The key is a huge shift in focus. It's all about cultivating what we can call true awareness.
So what do we even mean by awareness in this case? It's actually super simple. It's recognizing your patterns without judgment. And I really want to hammer that last part home because it is everything, without judgment. It's about becoming a neutral observer of your own experience.
Okay, so let's break this down because this is huge. Look at the two columns here. On the left, you've got judgment. That's the voice that says, I'm so stupid, or here I go again, I'm just broken. See how it's an attack? But now look at the right side. That's observation. It's just, I'm noticing a thought, or I'm acknowledging a feeling of anxiety right now. Can you feel the difference? One's a harsh verdict. The other is just information. It's just data.
And this little shift, it completely changes your role. You go from being a critic to being a detective. You're not looking for what's wrong with you anymore. Instead, you're just getting curious about the signals your own mind and body are sending you. So let's look at how you can actually do this.
First up, you can start by just observing your thought patterns. Instead of automatically believing every story your brain spins, you just notice it. You learn to create a little space and separate your thoughts from capital T truth. A thought becomes just a thought, a little event happening in your mind, not some undeniable fact about you or the world.
Next, we can observe our emotional triggers. This is all about connecting the dots. What just happened that made me feel this way? And then you take it a step further. Where do I feel this in my body? Maybe your jaw gets tight when you're frustrated, or you get that knot in your stomach when you're nervous. Your body is giving you all this incredible physical data about your emotional state. We just have to learn how to listen to it.
And finally, we can observe our survival habits. So many of our automatic behaviors, things like avoiding confrontation or always trying to please people, they're really just old patterns. A lot of times, they're patterns we built when we were kids to feel safe. And here's the thing. They probably worked back then. But observing them now helps us ask, hey, is this old program still actually serving me today? And when you start bringing all of this together, when you begin observing your thoughts, your feelings, your habits, with that gentle curiosity, something really, truly profound starts to happen. This simple shift from judging yourself to just observing yourself, that's it. That's where the healing begins.
This becomes your new mantra. Seriously. Instead of meeting your own patterns with anger and frustration, you just meet them with curiosity. I am observing myself, not attacking myself. It sounds so simple, but saying that to yourself in a tough moment can literally change everything.
Because at the end of the day, the goal here isn't to fix yourself. That whole idea that you're a project to be fixed is actually what keeps us stuck in the first place. The real purpose of all of this is just to understand yourself, compassionately, completely.
So I want to leave you with this little challenge. Don't even worry about trying to change anything right now. Just for today, practice being the observer. What's one pattern, whether it's a thought, a feeling, or a habit, that you can just notice without any judgment at all? What can you observe?